eminent persons, invited guests in Parliament, all the three arms of the state under one roof in Parliament. This is indeed an exciting event and the event on our political
I want
calendar.
to agree with you, Maseko. Do you want us to talk a little bit about the theme for this event?
Well, as you can see, it's a very exciting, very bright. As you can see there, it's Umamu Togo Didiza walking down the red carpet as well, and Mamu Buroto, they are going, the House chairpersons going down the red carpet. Activities are abuzz and excitement everywhere. The weather is also beautiful. Wow, in Cape Town for a change.
Yes, the weather is beautiful. I saw it's about 31 degrees Celsius here in Cape Town. It's extremely hot. I think it's a perfect weather for those who are into fashion so that they can be able to be seen properly.
That's true. I agree with you. I really agree with you, Justice. As you can see, also members of the media, also they in the red carpet. It's basically this event is also used somehow as a fashion event. This is where people come in their beautiful dresses, people come in their traditional attires, basically to walk down literally the red carpets and show off their fashion.
I think we cannot overemphasize the fact that it is the most important event in the political calendar in the country. After all, this is the only event where three arms of state come under one roof.
Yes, indeed. And now we cannot also just keep it to fashion. We must also remember that it is where the president will be giving us the state of the nation. It is not only about fashion. It is not only about the excitement, but it is also for us to come and hear where we are as a country, where we are going, and what are the plans ahead for us as a country for this year.
You can see members of Parliament choir entertaining guests and the members of Parliament as they are making their way into the National Assembly chamber to take their seats so that they can be ready when the time arrives for the president to address the nation.
That is true, Justice. Another thing is that it's so interesting and very lovely to observe that now Parliament has been opened to ordinary South Africans, where you know that people are invited as guests, like the eminent persons who are people from different provinces, all the 9 provinces, of course, people who have impacted the lives of ordinary people in their community. People who have made a difference in the country, not necessarily in the country as a whole, but either in their community, in their villages, in their provinces, or in their municipalities. So they get invited, each one from each province. So this year from the Eastern Cape, we're having Miss Loram Pashwa and Miss Nokulunga Pashwa. For Free State, we'll be having Miss Dora Mudiba, Gauteng Miss Samkile Muladani, KZN, we have Ubabu Madlenkozi Dlomo, and I had an opportunity to speak to Babu Dlomo earlier on, where he told me his story, interesting life story indeed.
You know, what struck me most is the prize singer who will be narrating his prize singing to the president this evening.
We will also be interviewing the House Chairperson, the NCOP House Chairperson for Committees and Oversight, Honorable Jomo Nyambi. We're expecting him just to give us an overview of the NCOP because, as you know, the theme for this year is celebrating 20 years of the Constitution and celebrating the 20 years since the establishment of the NCOP. So this year we are celebrating 20 years into the Constitution and the National Council of Provinces. We'll expect him to give us just the challenges they've been through, the challenges they faced as the National Council of Provinces over 20 years. We'll also ask him to give us an overview of what is it that we can expect during this 20-year celebration year. So we'll speak to him later. He'll join us in studio and we'll speak to him regarding that. In the studio here, we have Honorable Jomo Nyambi, who is the House Chairperson in the National Council of Provinces for Committees and Oversight. Mr. Jomo Nyambi, welcome to the studio and welcome.
Thank you.
All I want you to do is just to tell us, what is the NCOP?
NCOP is the house that represents the interest of provinces. As you know that in terms of the constitution, when you talk of parliament, you talk of the two houses, the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces. So in the NCOP, we're talking about the house where members are coming from all these provinces. It's 10 members, 4 are special delegates, 6 are permanent members. So all, in total, we are 54. So we are representing the interests of the provinces.
Okay, and what is your role in the NCOP as the House Chairperson for Committees and Oversight?
I'm in charge of making sure that at the beginning of the year, we invite all chairpersons of committees, advise them how they'll go about in drafting their program for a particular year. And then from there, we'll invite the entire membership that will assist the committees to come with their programs. You'll know that in terms of the core mandate of our NCOP, it's we are doing just 3 things. The first one is oversight. The second one is public participation. Then the third one is legislation. So as a person who is in charge of committees, you must make sure that all the committees, irrespective of whatever department, they are making sure that all departments in South Africa are accountable to the National Council of Provinces. And they go beyond that. Sometimes you'll have interventions in provinces, whether it's section 139(1)A or 139(1)B. So it means you have to refer that issue to COCTA, and COCTA must go to all the stakeholders in a province to make sure that we have respected the constitution and everything is done according to order. And you know that we have got even entities that are accounting to the NCOP. So the committees must make sure. And this is a very interesting year, as you might be aware, that we're celebrating 20 years. So in these 20 years, we're going to make sure that it's a year that is going to be totally different. It's going to be business unusual.
Okay, speaking of the 20 years of since the establishment of the NCOP, what are the milestones that the NCOP has achieved?
There are a lot of things. The first one is that out of petitions committee, we're able, when we petition as the NCOP, to make sure that the relevant committee dealt with an issue of people that were in prison for 19 years, yet innocent. So the NCOP intervened and assisted those people to be released in prison. And beyond that, when we're talking about interventions that are happening in different provinces, so the NCOP from time to time, and for the first time in 20 years, because I've got my colleague who's a House Chairperson, Honorable Frolik, in the NA, who are doing things totally different. We're making sure there's a synergy between NCOP and National Assembly, because we're avoiding a duplication. You'll understand that after 20 years, we have to do things differently. There are lessons that has been learned for what has been done for all the years. So now we're doing things totally different. And Auditor General, in the past, he used to come to committees in the NA only to find that the following week he will be called by NCOP. But because of the synergy, I'm working with my counterpart. We make sure that we have one program, we call him once. And beyond that, there used to be stampede in provinces. You'll have a portfolio committee and a select committee. They go to one province. You expect the same people because you don't have a constituency for National Assembly or a constituency for the NCOP. We're talking about same people. So the proper coordination, we avoid stampede, avoid repetition, avoid doing same thing that has been done by portfolio committee. So we try to cover the country as much as we possibly can, because you'll understand that we've got 9 provinces and we've got some programs that we have. The Youth Parliament, the Women's Parliament, Taking Parliament to the People, Local Government Week, Provincial Week. We go back to our respective provinces as NCOP members to get a mandate to understand what the provinces are saying, how to make sure that we come back and make sure that we advocate issues that are coming from our respective provinces.
Mr. Nyambi, thank you very much for your time, and I hope that this will really be a great business unusual year. And I hope that you'll also enjoy the State of the Nation address. Thank you very much for your time.
Definitely, we're looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, you can leave. Thank you very much.
sicela ukuthi bosotindzaba baye etindzaweni tabo naseyigabence insimbi yesihlanu. Ladies and gentlemen, please note that media must take up their positions at 17:30.
We just saw the arrival of Minister Dipuo Peters and the Home Affairs Minister Melusi Gigaba as well, and his wife.
Yeah, yes, indeed. It looks like the dignitaries and the members of parliament, together with the ministers, are slowly but surely trickling in. Yes, there I can see the minister, Gigaba, Minister of Home Affairs.
The mood, as you can see as well, Justice, that the mood is very high. People are excited, and it's a jovial day. And even coming to this August event, the mood is high, and I think, as you said, that it is the event on our political calendar. This is where we get to see even business people. There we can see Mr. Frolic arriving there, who is the House Chairperson in the National Assembly for committees as well. The one that Mr. Honorable Nyambi just referred to, he's also the House Chairperson in the National Assembly.
I think it's important for the viewers at home to understand why everyone seems to be concentrated at one place. Perhaps we should explain that
Go ahead.
that is the entrance where in which all the dignitaries and members of parliament will go through into the National Assembly chamber. I can see now a full complement, because earlier on we saw about, I think, 3 members. Now it's a full complement of Parliament choir, doing what they are best at in order to entertain our guests.
We go back again to the entrance where you see Minister Makhoba there arriving, the Minister of State Security, and there Mr. Frolic, as I said, also walking in. And this entrance is known as the Portes. This is the entrance to the old assembly in the Parliament buildings.
Yes, is the entrance to the old assembly, to right way through to the National Assembly, because remember, they cannot use the direct entrance of the National Assembly chamber, because that's entrance is prepared for the president to come this evening together with the deputy president to come and take the salute right at the steps of the National Assembly. So that place has to remain clear for now until that a process happens when the president arrives.
After all, this is an extraordinary event. Extraordinary things happen. Yes.
I agree. I think it's also proper to say that the president is actually the man of the moment. We can see on the floor the red carpet. We see the deputy minister of the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries there.
Yes, Mr. Beki Cele there with his wife arriving as well. Undos. I think that's what he's known for. Is that true? Is that what they call him?
Something I also hear. Yeah, something I also hear. But then I cannot really confirm with certainty. Yeah, I think what we are seeing there, like we explained, that is the place where everyone who has got a seat in the National Assembly will have to go through into the chamber. So the media people try to grab them so that they can speak to them and get to hear what they have to say and their expectation. So that eventually ends up creating the kind of jump pack that people can see now.
And also an interesting thing to observe this year is that we have Parliament has received over 700 applications for accreditation for the State of the Nation address, and which means that the interest is growing. Everybody just wants to come to the State of the Nation address. And it's also great that Parliament is affording the media this opportunity to come and cover this event.
Very important to also mention the fact that this will be a joint sitting between the two houses. I know you spoke to Mr. Nyambi earlier. He was coming from the other house, the National Council of Provinces. It's important to mention that members from both the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces will be in attendance to this State of the Nation address. We all know that the National Assembly consists of 400 members, and the National Council of Provinces consists of only 90 members.
Yes, and the joint sitting of Parliament, as you said, it's where the two houses meet and sit together, because sometimes the NA sits alone, and it is only on certain instances whereby, like the State of the Nation address, whereby the two houses will come together and sit. Also on screen there, we're seeing Helen Zille there, who just arrived, and it looks like she's taking a media interview there. Looking great, I must say.
She does. She is looking great. Is the premier of the Western Cape and the former leader of the official opposition, the Democratic Alliance.
Also, to add to what we're saying, is that the public participation element of the State of the Nation address, this year we have the youngest Imbongi, who is speaking in Isiswati. He will be using Isiswati umonga meli, because every year we have different languages where different people come to do the praise singing, simply called praise singing. So this year we're having one who is from, his name is Given, and he's from, I'm not sure which province he's from actually now.
He's from Mpumalanga.
He's from
That I can
Mpumalanga.
show.
They
That
may
I
know the
can
right
assure you.
answers all the time.
Yes. That I can assure you. He's from Mpumalanga. We can see on the screen the Minister of Police, Minister Nkosinathi Nhleko, making his way into the chamber also with his spouse. I think, like we say now, that when they walk through, the media wouldn't let them go freely without taking a shot of the ministers.
Everyone wants a shot of the fashion. Everybody wants to take a shot.
This is me making a big effort sometimes. So
So I think we must talk now about the choir. I think they've been performing for quite a while now. It must be lovely out there. What do you think?
It's called entertainment. That's what you do. You stand and entertain the whole day. Well, it's a great choir. They've been doing it for so many years. It's been in existence for a very long time in Parliament, and they're really making Parliament proud.
Yeah, but more on the substantive matters, the very important matters in terms of the procession. What are we expecting to see? I know there's going to be a procession by the military band. Mm-hmm. There's going to be the military parade, and there's also going to be a procession by premiers. Mm-hmm. We're also going to see the speakers of the provincial legislatures also.
And the judiciary as well will be ushered up, led by, in front of them, I know it's usually Chief Justice Mogoeng who always is in front of them.
Yes, and then perhaps we should explain what will happen when the president takes to the steps of the National Assembly chamber.
Usually what would happen is that we will have what we call a step guard, which is the last salute there by the steps of the National Assembly, just in front of the National Assembly. And then after that, we will have the SANDF doing the national anthem after he takes his salute, and then the 21-gun salute, and the fly past that we usually see flying over Parliament precincts.
It's actually a full military salute.
Yes, that's true, Justice.
Very interesting. The people continue to trickle in one by one, because I think members of Parliament, they should be seated, all of them, in the chamber by 7:15 before the president enters the chamber.
Yes, this is to allow 5:45, to correct you, to be precise.
Yes.
It's 5:45, just to allow so that everybody can be able to see the procession clearly, because obviously with this so much congestion, we won't be able to see the procession and all the marches going up from the military.
We just saw the Minister of Environmental Affairs, Edna Mulewa. She's wearing green. She's going green. Is that green?
Yes, she's going green, by the way. Environment, yes.
Interesting. Yes, the ministers and the other members of Parliament will continue until the stated time, 5:45, when they would have all taken their seats in the chamber. But as we await that moment to happen, we will continue to take through our viewers as to what is happening on the floor,
and also who's
on
who.
the red carpet, and who's who on the red carpet as well.
Members and guests, the red carpet will close in 15 minutes. Please cross the red carpet to the chamber and respective venues. Madumane Kibagash, ikhaphethi lebovu itakoxoxwa elizweni leshumi nesihlanu.
We're getting closer to interesting times. As I said, we're expecting to see the former president of Republic of South Africa, Mr. Thabo Mbeki, and his wife walking in anytime soon, and they will arrive at the main entrance of the National Assembly, just in front of the stairs, and they'll be received by the Speaker of the National Assembly and the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, and the Secretary to Parliament, Ms. Bijawa, and the Deputy Secretary. The Secretary to Parliament, Mr. Mgidlana, and the Deputy Secretary to Parliament, Ms. Jawa, and Advocate Pindela.
That will be very interesting, because when you have such important guests visiting you, you need to really welcome them with open arms.
That's very true. And who to do it better than our presiding officers themselves?
Yes, definitely. And we will see the Speaker and the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces visiting, welcoming the President.
Speaking about green, there also goes Honorable Minister Natim Cheto with his wife in green. So everybody's going green this year, I guess.
It looks like it's the
green
theme,
is the color.
Green is the color.
You didn't tell me that green is the color for today.
I didn't know until this now.
Okay. We'll also be able to see the Chief Justice of the Republic of South Africa And Mr. Mogoeng, together with his spouse, they are also expected to arrive, and they will be received also in the entrance of the National Assembly. When that happens, we'll just take you through to be able to get visuals for that.
Speaking of the Chief Justice Mogoeng, I think also we will also see a procession of the judge presidents from all the divisions of the High Court in the 9 provinces. They will also be coming together with Chief Justice Mogoeng.
That is very true.
I think the military band is also doing a good job outside there. There comes the leader of the Democratic Alliance together with some of the members of his party, Ms. Honorable Musi Maimani. They've got a banner, but
It's
I
written,
missed.
remember the ECD in 94.
Oh, it's written,
That's what it's
remember the
called,
ECD men in 94. Wow,
Yes.
what a powerful message there.
And also we see the Minister Nomvula Mokonyane for water and sanitation coming through as well. Looking great, I must say.
Yes, but not wearing green.
Yes, okay.
Perhaps you missed the memo.
Yeah, probably.
Perhaps we should talk also about the background sound at the back.
The band.
The band is the military band playing to also entertain the guests that are lining up on the red carpet.
What do you think the president is doing now as he's looking at this? Is he watching TV? Is he...
For me, I would say the president, wherever he is now, he must be now doing the final touches. But I want to believe that I want to believe that the speech that is going to deliver this evening has been long prepared. But also, it's important, just to go through your speech on the last minute so that you are quite sure exactly what you are going to say. Sometimes you can even make some last minute changes on 1 or 2 paragraphs, because after all, he is the head of the state.
And if you must remember, Justice, that this is his 10th State of the Nation address. So I'm sure that he's quite good. He knows how to deal with it. It's his 10th, experience now.
Very interesting. Do you know that this will be the 28th State of the Nation address since the Democratic Parliament?
Wow, interesting.
The most president who delivered most of the State of the Nation address still stands to be former President Thabo Mbeki, who delivered 11 State of the Nation addresses between 1999 and 2004.
Oh, interesting information.
So he's followed by the President Zuma, who delivered 9. Today he'll be delivering the 10th one.
His 10th one.
And number 3 is former statesman, the President Rolihlahla, Nelson Mandela, who delivered 6 Station of the Nation addresses between 94 and 1999. And President Motlamse delivered only one in 1999.
And yes, if you can remember as well that the number may also be taken up by the fact that during an election year, we usually have two State of the Nation addresses.
Precisely.
Yes, before the elections, around this time as well, and also after the elections, the newly elected president then will also deliver his State of the Nation addresses. So that is why during an election year, we will have 2 State of the Nation addresses.
That is precisely so. We must also emphasize the fact that the National Council of Provinces is celebrating 20 years since its establishment this year.
Yes, that's true. And also the theme for this year's State of the Nation address is celebrating 20 years of the Constitution and 20 years since the establishment of the NCOP. Earlier on, I had an opportunity to interview some of the people who were involved in the development of our Constitution. And I must say it's quite interesting how to listen to the stories of the people who sweated for this Constitution, who were there having sleepless nights, putting hard work, making sure that we are where we are today. And one of the questions I asked, all of them actually, was there a point I interviewed Mr. Rolf Meyer, Professor Wole Serote, and Ms. Yvette Meyer-Kayaka, who's currently the High Commissioner to Namibia. And one question I asked them was that were there days when they felt like this constitution is not going to materialize? We've hit a brick wall. We're not going anywhere. Let's give up. And all of them, to be precise, told me there was never that day. It was hard. It was tough. It was sweat. But they all pushed in. They all pushed. They all wanted to see it happening. There, as you can see there by the mural as well, when you go back to the visuals, there's a big poster there, pasted there, of all the State of the Nation with pictures, visuals, because it's all about pictures. It's all about to make it colorful. And all the previous presidents and the years. It's so interesting. I love that banner. I love it. Yes, it's telling a story.
It does. It does. I mean, speaking of the National Council of Provinces, I think we should mention that in its 20 years, it has only had about 5 chairpersons, starting with a honorable member and the leader of the Congress of the People, Musua Lukota. He was the first ever chairperson of the NCOP to be elected in 1994.
As you can see there's a point where the red carpet closes, which means that nobody will be able to cross over. As you can see, there's also sweeping happening there because obviously we make it dirty as we walk across. Now, what's going to happen is it will be closed at a certain point not to allow people to cross over, so that as the procession comes up, nobody's allowed into the red carpet. For us to have better visuals, of course.
Remember, the red carpet needs to be now prepared and be ready for both the military parade and the military band, and also the president to drive in.
Close up there, you can also see Mr. Musi Maimane, the leader of the opposition DA, also walking in through Portes and his wife, and Mr. Jeff Khadebe and his wife also walking through. Greetings, people sharing greetings.
Quite interesting. It's a jovial mood, no political differences.
That's very true.
It's just about the state of the nation.
It's all about the state of the nation. We are all looking forward to hearing the president and what he has to say to us. And also, you know, earlier on I interviewed Ms. Nomkosi Dube, who's the project manager for the State of the Nation Address project in Parliament. And she told me that as much as we see here, everything laid out, everything happening, there's a lot of work that goes into it. It didn't start yesterday. Immediately when the State of the Nation ends, they're already starting to plan for the following one, which goes to show that it's not only about you wake up tomorrow and there's the State of the Nation. There's too much preparation that goes into it. Different stakeholders which are involved because it's a state event. It's not only about Parliament, it's different arms of the state that have to be involved in the planning of the State of the Nation address.
Yes, very importantly. I think this event also involves the eminent persons who are specially invited to come take part as part of the Parliament's public participation program. The eminent persons are the people who are contributing significantly in the various aspects of life in their communities, in their provinces. It could be in the business sphere, in politics, in social, and on other aspects of life. I know you spoke to one of the eminent persons from Limpopo, who is a farmer, Mama Bolo.
Yes, I did speak to her earlier on, and you know, she told me that she has received awards in her life. She has been recognized everywhere. She even went to Spain to represent South Africa. But one thing that was great that she mentioned is that nothing beats the moment when she got the call that she will be in Parliament representing the province. She says the level of excitement, she has never been that excited in her life to be able to come and participate at such an event. Yes, she's a guest, but coming here, being called to come here, that goes to show that our people also want to be part of it. Our people also want to be in Parliament. That is why our Parliament doors are always open for people to come in.
Yes, I think they are very important guests of Parliament, as you may see. They will be sitting lining up to the banner that was shown earlier on, that we said it depicts all the previous presidents. They will be seated there lining up so that they will be able to be greeted by the president when he arrives.
And another thing, another element of public participation is that we'll also be having a junior guard which will be
There
lining
they
up
are.
just next to the red carpet.
There they
And
are.
it is made out of 100 learners, which from the different high schools here in Western Cape, in the Kraaifontein. This year, we selected ones from the Kraaifontein area, from Blue Combos, North Pine, Scottsville, and Brackenfield. They will be forming their 100 junior guards, which will be parading next to the red carpet. And also the Civil Guard of Honor, which is also made out of 100 representatives from different civil society organizations. And this year we're having ones from the Federation of Aboriginal Southern Africa, which is FASA, Cape Craft and Design Institute, CCDI, Mitchell's Plain Natural Bodybuilding Union, Western Cape Legislative Council, CAMISA, and Tshepiso Mokoena Foundation. These are some of the civil guards who come from different civil organizations who also form the element of public participation, which started at the dawn of democracy. When President Mandela became president, he opened parliament to everybody, and that is the element which was introduced, public participation.
I think I would really vouch really hard that Parliament is trying to meet its constitutional imperative to be the Parliament of the people, and also include people in everything that the Parliament is doing.
As you can see, that the red carpet has now been closed. No people will be allowed to cross over at this point, because we are now preparing for the parade and ultimately the president's arrival. There are the eminent people seated next to the banner, the famous banner that we talked about.
The famous banner. You see, the opening of the red carpet signifies the formal ceremony. Very soon it will be starting. That's where we'll be seeing now the very important people arriving. And this, I think, it makes sense why the red carpet has to be closed, and why all members of parliament have to be seated by at least 5:45, because it's to avoid that they should not cross over to the red carpet, because there's no way you can go to Port Hayes without crossing the red carpet.
That's true. That's very true. Very soon we're expecting the military parade to leave the castle and march down towards Parliament. We'll be seeing them very soon, and you'll get an opportunity to see the visuals as they are marching. There in front of the National Assembly, you see also there's a red carpet there being rolled.
Soprano,
There's also a black car which just came in, so we'll wait to see who comes out. This is Mr. Mahlangu, Nino Mahlangu, who is the former chairperson of the National Council of Provinces.
And he's now His Excellency, the Ambassador to the United States of America.
As you can see now, he's proceeding right straight into the National Assembly to be received by the stairs. And he's now being received by the Deputy Speaker to the National Assembly, Mr. Lechisa Tenudi.
Now, we did indicate that when they close the red carpet, it means now the arrival of the most important ones.
Yes, it's basically the start of a formal ceremony. So we're expecting the military also to arrive anytime soon. More black cars, more cars also coming in.
We'll see, will be coming out of the car.
Yes, as we wait in anticipation.
Yes. But, I wanted to say, don't you just love the order of proceedings here? Because there's no program director.
An order, but there is order.
Yes.
It's like somebody is telling them, do this at this time,
The
do that
program
at this
is
time.
just
It flows.
like, very interesting.
Orderly, for that matter, not just flowing. And also, as you can see there's the bust of former President Nelson Mandela, which is now just standing in front of the National Assembly. It was unveiled in April 2014.
Very important.
Yes.
The arrival of the military parade. The official program now has started.
It's also interesting when you're watching them marching, it's as if somebody's telling them right, left, right, but they just do it without being told.
I think it's got to do with
Rehearsals, yeah. Well, let's give rehearsals that credit.
These are members of the military based in the castle.
Yes, true that. As we wait to see also who's coming out of the car.
It must be members of the diplomatic corps arriving there.
Going through. And also, if you are around Cape Town, you will also be able to hear the 21 gun salute, which will happen during the national anthem.
But also a nice view of the military parade from the Castle of Good Hope It's about a kilometer or so from here.
Yes, they came all the way marching up.
Yes.
And
yes,
there are others
yes.
who are still coming, following them. There you can see that the junior guards of honor, they have lined next to the red carpet there.
Are they the one from the schools in around Kraaifontein and Brackenfell here in the Western Cape? And the chairperson of the National Council of Provinces who preside over the sitting. And they are called presiding officers. And their job and role mostly is to maintain order and apply the rules of the joint sitting when the joint sitting is in process. That is their main role when they are presiding. Basically, what you're saying is that today's session will be presided over by both the Speaker of the National Assembly and the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces.
Yes, Mme Bale Kambete le Mme Thandi Modise.
That's another arrival.
We'll wait to see who is that. That is a spouse of the President of the Republic of South Africa, Mrs. Zuma, also walking up the red carpet and will be received by the presiding officers at the by the National Assembly door.
Yes.
There she is being received by the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces and the Speaker of the National Assembly.
The Speaker of the National Assembly, yes. The military parade coming up. Another arrival.
It is also another spouse of the President of the Republic of South Africa. It's another Mrs. Zuma as well, walking up the red carpet. She will also be received by the presiding officers of Parliament. As more and more people arrive, you realize that we're getting closer and closer to the moment.
Yes, yes, and the anxiety get higher and higher because
That's very true.
we just can't wait to hear what the president has got to say.
There you can see the chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Metandi Modise, together with Nebale Gambet, who's the Speaker of the National Assembly.
Waiting patiently to receive all the important guests that will be arriving here. I think the president will be the last one.
The
to
ultimate
arrive.
guest.
Yes.
Yes, true that. And I think that the media is also a very big part of this event. And it has been like this for so many years. They've been here from the morning. Others as early as 5 o'clock, they were here, eager to do interviews, eager to learn more about the state of the nation, to inform the nation about the state of the nation address. So it's been quite a long day for the media people as well.
It has been, and also credit to Parliament, because Parliament is open doors to all the media houses to come and cover this auspicious event, so that all people across the country are able to see what is happening.
That's true, yes.
The bust of former President Nelson Mandela.
We are all waiting in anticipation for all the arrivals of the guests and the military band as well. Hence, it's all quiet. We're all wondering who's next, who's coming next.
Who are we still expecting to arrive?
We also
I think the former president.
The former president, Mr. Thabo Mbeki,
And his spouse.
the Chief Justice of the Republic of South Africa.
The Deputy President.
That's true.
And his spouse.
And, of course, Mr. Sekeli Zuma.
Yes.
If you've just joined us, we are coming to you live from Parliament for the State of the Nation address. As you can see, walking out there are members of the Economic Freedom Fighters as they're making their way to the house, I assume, sing in song and in their red uniform.
Their usual red regalia. I didn't expect to see them in the red regalia. Like we're saying, it's a most fashionable day. I thought perhaps they'll be coming here with fitted suits and ties.
There is the leader, Mr. Julius Malema.
And the Honorable Fana Mokoena in front.
the band is also still entertaining the people outside. And it is the same band that will do the national anthem.
But something quite striking, though, that we saw all other members of parliament. They came in trickling in one by one. But when coming to the economic freedom fighters, members of parliament, they come all at once as a group.
I see that as well.
We seem to be about to receive another procession, military procession.
And there stands the bust of Madiba as well in front of the National Assembly. Walking down there out of the National Assembly is the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Mr. Lechusa Tsenudu, who's the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, and the Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Mr. Rasiri Didau, together with the Secretary to Parliament, Mr. Gengizin Gidlana, and Nomkosi Dube, who is the Project Manager for the State of the Nation Address Project in Parliament. They are walking to Africa House, which is one of the buildings in Parliament.
Yes, they are positioning themselves to now welcome the former President Thabo Mbeki as he will be arriving, together with, followed by the Deputy President.
As you can see that the military, they're doing a salute just in front of the National Assembly as well.
The State Guard, yes. Actually, the presiding officer, they will be receiving the Deputy President and the spouse.
Walking up the red carpet is Advocate Pindela, who's the, no, it's Mr. Kwaso actually, who's the Secretary to the National Assembly, who's receiving the Premier, who is just receiving the premiers and walking up the red carpet up to the National Assembly.
Yes, just behind him, I think it goes now with the alphabetic order. Behind him is the Premier of the Eastern Cape, Premier Maswale, followed by the Premier of Free State, Ace Mahashule, and the Premier of Gauteng. There is David Makura, the Premier of KZN, Tunu, the Premier of Limpopo, Mr. Matabata, and the Premier of Mpumalanga, David Mabuza. Right, and then Nepolo Kivit, the Premier of Northern Cape. Behind her, I think, is the Premier of...
behind her is the Premier of Northwest, is Mr. Supra Mahoma Pelu.
Mr. Supra Mahoma Pelu. And then finally, you know, W is right at the end, Western Cape, the Premier Helen Zille.
And there out of the car is Chief Justice Mr. Mogoeng going up the red carpet as well.
Yes.
He's also going to receive there by the entrance of the National Assembly and being ushered inside. Next to him is his spouse, Mrs. Mogoeng. He's being received by the Deputy Secretary to Parliament, Advocate Pindela. There's Mr. Paso still walking up the red carpet.
Yes, the premiers are still making their way. Like we said, they are lined up in terms of the alphabetic orders of the names of the provinces. Quite striking. Most of the premiers are males, and most of the legislatures speakers are females. There comes the speakers of the provincial legislatures. Also, I think in terms of the alphabetic order.
They're being ushered in by Advocate Beni Nonyani, who is the Deputy Secretary to the National Council of Provinces.
The procession go along the red carpet and will end inside the National Assembly chamber. Right at the end of the lining of the speakers of the provincial assemblies is the Speaker of Limpopo the Speaker of the Limpopo provincial legislature, Mepo Bushielo. The military ceremonial parade.
Which are the ones dressed in green?
speakers of the legislatures, they made their way. The red carpet will proceed through into the chamber. The ceremonial parade will continue until in front of the National Assembly steps.
That is what they will do. They will line up in front of the queen. It's always very interesting and very colorful to observe, and the music, wow, it's always just fascinating to watch.
It's beautiful.
If you're in Cape Town, you probably would have had an opportunity to see them as they were parading down from Slave Lodge, just walking up, just for you to observe the beauty.
Of the military parade.
That's true. The Mandela bust as well, creating a beautiful image as well just in front of the National Assembly.
A very iconic image.
That's very cool. As you can see, the speakers are walking up the stairs in the National Assembly into the National Assembly, where they will be seated.
When you see the ceremonial guard arriving, then you must know that the president is about to make his way.
That is all we've been waiting for the whole day. That is all this preparation, that is
That's
what it's all about.
Yes.
As you can see, the ceremonial guard lined up just in front of the National Assembly. If you just joined us, we are broadcasting live from Parliament for the State of the Nation Address 2017 under the theme Celebrating 20 Years of the Constitution and 20 Years since the establishment of the National Council of Provinces. And I'm still your host, Masego Dlula, together with my co-host,
Justice Malafo. The ceremonial guard will have to remain still until the president arrives. welcome back. Now we having the image of the chamber. All members and the guests have taken their seats. They are seated and waiting in anticipation. They will wait until the Deputy President and the President eventually make their way in.
And as you can see, as you said earlier on, that is the joint sitting of the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces. It's a full house, in other words.
It is a full house, and it will be co-chaired by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Mayor Balagambete, together with the Chairperson of the NCOP, Mayor Thandi Modise. As you can see right in front there, there's only 2 seats. A shot of a beautiful, iconic Table Mountain, and the military ceremonial guard will remain still until the President arrives. The Judiciary Procession, led by Advocate Pindela, followed by the Chief Justice. This is the procession of the Judiciary together with the Chief Justice and the Judge Presidents for the Provincial High Court Divisions.
Yes.
I can see Judge Davies there. Judge Dustin Mlambo of the Gauteng Division. It's quite interesting that the Parliament makes laws and legislation and also passed the Constitution, but in terms of the very same Constitution, Parliament cannot interpret its own Constitution. These are the only people, is the only branch of state that is vested with powers to interpret the Constitution.
The law of the country.
And they represent another sphere of government, by the way, which is the judiciary.
As you know, that Cape Town is the legislative capital and Bloemfontein is the judicial capital in the country.
Correct.
They're also greeting the eminent persons, and now they will also make their way to the National Assembly where they will be seated.
And I think in terms of the procession, this is the last procession to make it through to the red carpet until we are going to see the President making his own.
That is true. They are walking in through the National Assembly building where they will be seated in the National Assembly chamber. We are all waiting in anticipation for the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, together with his wife, Dr. Motsepe, and also to see President Jacob Zuma, the man of the moment, as he will be delivering the State of the Nation address for 2017.
Inside the chamber, members of the judiciary are making their way through. And I think this evening, South Africa will witness the most striking talent from the young one, given Lubisi.
Yes, he was only 11 years old.
And he's in grade 6, eh?
Yes, he is in grade 6. And he told me earlier on that he has had the opportunity to praise the chief in Mpumalanga, to also praise the premier, and he's constantly invited to different government events where they utilize his skills.
Yes.
Grooming talents, like young black boy.
He's from Shizindal Primary. In the Mpumalanga under Nkomanzi local municipality,
yes,
in the Nkanzeni district.
And the language for this here will be Isiswati, which is the language that he'll be using to praise President Jacob Zuma.
Members of the EFF remain standing there, applauding, I think, applauding the members of the judiciary.
Yeah.
We did mention that the ceremonial guard will remain still until the president makes his way to the steps of the National Assembly. There they are. Arrival of the Deputy President, Cyril Ramaphosa, arriving with his spouse,
Dr. Motsepe.
Dr. Motsepe. I think the Deputy President is the second last person to arrive this evening before we see the arrival of the President himself.
Yes, that is true, Justice. We are expecting them to be met by the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly and the Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Mr. Leshisa Tsenudi and Mr. Rasiriti Tau, and the Acting Deputy Secretary to Parliament, Advocate Pindela, are the people who will be receiving the Deputy President of the country, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, and his wife, Dr. Motsepe. They are lined up waiting for the Deputy President.
There is the Deputy President, Cyril Ramaphosa.
And his wife, Dr. Motsepe, they're greeting Deputy Speaker to the National Assembly.
He's proceeding to the eminent persons. Greeting the eminent persons there. like we mentioned earlier, these are the people who played a very important role in various aspects of life in their communities where they live in and provinces where they come from.
Yes, that is. The one that is greeting now is Ms. Cecilia Mamabolo, whom I had an opportunity to talk to earlier, who's a female farmer in Limpopo.
And you did mention that she is a successful farmer, right?
Yes, she is thriving in her own field as a female farmer. As you can see, the jovial mood, the excitement, the joy that they have in meeting the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, and his wife.
It looks like it's the moment they've been waiting for.
Yes, it's more like a dream come true for them.
Yeah.
Because ordinarily, not everybody will dream of ever meeting the Deputy President or the President of the country. So given that opportunity, it is really an honor, as they said themselves.
I believe so.
The Deputy President is now being ushered to the National Assembly, where he will also take up his seat. He's being ushered by Advocate Pindela, who's the Deputy Secretary to Parliament, the Acting Deputy Secretary to Parliament, and Mr. Lechisa Tsunundi, who's the Deputy Speaker to the National Assembly. Behind them is Dr. Motsepe, who's the spouse to Cyril Ramaphosa. Walking along her is Mr. Rasiriti Tau, who's the Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces. As we have said earlier on Justice, that the ceremonial guard will remain standing until the President has arrived. There, as you can see, they're just right in front of the National Assembly.
Yes, the big moment, it's upon us now. The President will arrive
anytime soon.
Anytime now.
It's getting closer and closer.
Remember, the President, when he takes to the steps, he's going to have a full parade, 21 gun salutes, and the flight past.
Everybody's waiting for the big moment now for the President to arrive, and he will also be received. He will also be received by the Africa House, where the Deputy President was also dropped off.
Arrival of the President, the President of the country, President Jacob Zuma, making his way.
Making his way to be dropped off by Africa House and be received. He will be received by the Speaker of the National Assembly and the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces.
No, what always strikes me is where do the military park this bus? Because it looks like it's only been used during SONA. It's not the first time I see this bus.
Probably that's what it was made for, just the State of the Nation address.
Interesting. The moment we've been waiting for is finally here. The President of the country has arrived. He's going to proceed right to the stairs of the National Assembly to take a salute before he goes into the chamber. The President arrives with a spouse.
They're being greeted by the presiding officers of Parliament together with Mr. Gengezi Gidlana, who's the Secretary to Parliament.
Secretary to Parliament, yes.
The President is walking across to greet the eminent persons.
Yes.
I guess for them also, this is the moment they've all been waiting for.
This is the moment they've all been waiting for.
From the time they were invited to come to
greet.
Parliament and being here, this is the moment for them.
To greet the number
Nothing
one
beats
citizen.
that. Nothing beats this
Nothing
moment
will
for
beat
them.
that. I agree. The President looks like it's in a very jovial mood.
Yes.
It's owning the moment.
Taking the
because
moment and owning
after
it.
all, it's
This
about
is his
you.
moment.
It's about you.
Good to see. Thank you very much.
The President is being ushered by the Speaker of the National Assembly.
You see, when he adjusts his jacket, he reminds me when he appears the ANC rallies. You will see him adjusting his jacket. Then you know it's about to sing that famous song, In the Lentela.
Esihamba.
The President will take the salute. And something very important, I think, is to note that when the state of, when the national anthem is sung, it's only the President as the Commander-in-Chief who can hold his hand on his left chest.
Yeah, well, I sometimes see people also doing it, so it's still one of those things that still confuse myself.
Yeah.
What is the correct one? I was taught in high school that you stand up, you stand straight, and your hands to the sides. But people do it differently.
But it's supposed to be the President.
Only the President.
Only the President.
Wow, you learn every day. I didn't know that.
Who's
Thank you for the
supposed
lesson,
Who's
Justice.
supposed to do that because he's the only commander.
Commander-in-Chief
And
of
he's
the
the one
SNDF.
who has taken the oath.
Behind the presiding officers is Mr. Gengezi Gidlana, who's the Secretary to Parliament, also walking behind them along the red carpet to the NA stairs.
There you have it. It was the build-up to the State of the Nation address, brought to you live, Parliament TV, from Parliament Precinct here in Cape Town. Justice.
We just listened to the state of the national anthem. Now they will proceed to the National Assembly where they will take their seats. This is a moment we've all been watching for. This is the moment we've all been waiting for, the 2017 State of the Nation address. President Jacob Zuma just went inside where he will deliver the State of the Nation address under the theme celebrating 20 years of the Constitution and 20 years since the establishment of the NCOP.
This has been a build-up to this moment, broadcasting live from the precinct of Parliament.
After he walks into the chamber of the National Assembly, Mbongi will welcome him and do praise singing. As we said earlier on, he's the first youngest person. That was the build-up to the State of the Nation address.
Yeah, that has been a build-up to the State of the Nation address brought to you by Parliament TV.
And it's been a pleasure being your presenter. And enjoy the State of the Nation address. I'm out, Masiko Dlula.
Justice Mulafo, bye-bye.